that it is believed that most of the professional criminals are less educated, but we will tell about such serials. If all the serial killers of the world are put in a line, it will not be wrong at all. It is the most handsome and serial. Thanks to these qualities, he had made more than 100 young and beautiful girls his victims. The police did not even think about it. Today we are talking about a very famous serial killer test of America, which spread terror and panic among the people by unleashing an orgy of death in America in the 70s. When he was caught, he began to open his secrets, why it is said that behind the nature of the person and his nature, childhood depends to a great extent, that the subscriber responsible for young men and women expressed hatred and disgust towards women in the appointed subscriber when he was studying law after obtaining his degree. It is said that Ranver was a Pune student and a good dancer. He wanted to achieve the minimum balance. He proposed his karma, but he turned down the offer. This angered Ted Bundy. Care could understand something. She fainted on the floor. It's falling. After that, Ted Bundy touched the pulse of Kerala. He thought he was dead. But, despite this, he appoints the subscriber on the same, living in the room next to his, the habit of speaking in which some murmuring sound. When you hear this attack, get out of there. For 10 days, he didn't know anything happened to her, and her whole life was physical. 2. In disability. Here's when 20 found out that Karen was alive. He got a little angry. He decided that this time everything is perfect. Let me tell you that in those years, the technology of DNA sampling had not yet come. The police relied mostly on forensic science, in which the evidence found on the occasion was found. 123. The old man was very busy with all these things. He had mastered this thing, that how I committed a crime by leaving minimum Krishna. I was just a month after my first June for 21 years. The beautiful and intelligent like and subscribe, who was studying law at the University of Washington, was sleeping in her apartment at 5 o'clock in the morning on 1974, unaware of her fate. At the same time enters as Bodhi and attacks Linda from the Iron Road. When the body of the condemned becomes lifeless, then comfortably takes off her clothes and takes Lee in her car wearing a blue jeans. First attack on the front, and Kay disappears despite the efforts of the police. The police are also shocked that despite the efforts of the police, it is not known where she disappeared. No one knows what happened to Linda. After being caught, when Pet Bundy did not open his mouth during the jail days, the detectives and interviewing journalists were shocked to know that many girls like you were abducted in a car and taken to a secluded place. That Big Boss and raped the girls lying lifeless until they died. He later raped the rotting corpses with glasses and then left the corpses in the forest so that the wild animals would eat them, and there was no trace left from the decomposition of the corpses. He also confessed that he could subscribe with him. He mentioned 12 such corpses in the interviewer, whose heads he cut off and took with him and decorated those cities in his apartment like a trophy. It was that he used to go to the crime scene again and again and then have sex with the corpse until the last moment completely disappears. I had a different impression of Ted Bundy after my first murder. Every month a college student goes missing, and this series of murders continues to change their location again and again in different ways to entice young and beautiful girls into their trap, sometimes by pretending to indulge a girl on the way. Let's say that most of the victims of T20 were college campus girls, so at that time the media gave the name of campus killer to this unknown serial killer. That every criminal has some or the other mistake. He takes her to click and attacks Carol with an iron rod, but Carol manages to escape from there. She complains to the police about this case and the police robbers in her car, which the police did not know about the young man. This subscriber notes that for the first time in August 1975, the Delhi police seems to be very fond of driving a car very fast. That is why he is stopped by the police. When the police search his car, he then finds something suspicious in her car, including a women's undergarments, rope, knife and an iron rod that he gave to the police when there was no solid evidence against him. But the police were put on the list of criminals and he was monitored. The woman who escaped from 1975 is tested on Ted Bundy's trial in February 1975, in which he is sentenced to 15 years for Carol's kidnapping. Meanwhile, the police find women's hair from Ted Bundy's remaining car. At the same time, there are other clues that make it clear that he is the same campus killer. During this time, Ted Bundy was kept in a prison in Aspen, Colorado. Although the prison could not hold him for long, in 1977, Pat Bird escapes from the prison, although within 6 days the police catch him, and after that he was transferred to another security prison. But in December 1977, he once again broke the prison and escaped. Once again, after escaping from the jail, Ted Bundy did not stop his killing spree, and finally in February 1978, due to his habit of driving the car with the same overspeeding, Ted Bundy has been caught once again, this time for the murder of 3 more women in Florida. It has been said that on the birthday of 1979 minutes, more than 150 journalists of the country and abroad covered the trial trial going on in Aurora. 20 was the first such serial killer in the history of America whose trial was shown on national television. It seems strange, but at that time it was no less than a celebrity that the media introduced him as the most vicious serial killer in history. Detectives, journalists, especially women, were crowded to meet him in jail on Tet Monday when the trial started. He refused to take the help of any lawyer. He appointed a goat for the time being, appointed to prove himself innocent, even subscribed, so he got no help from 75 years. Impressed by the advocacy of T20. The last thing about the judgment that was set. The last wish was is it lut saya sach through his stand in high key magar layer love high joe practice lut lo the state Bundy. Tried unsuccessfully to escape from jail for the last time in 1984 is futile, so he has confessed his crime that he killed 36 women one night after another. To the journalists and detectives who came to meet him in jail, the purpose is to keep the administration in the loop so that it tells the death penalty instead of another murder every few months that the police, the journalists who are busy with this work, and his mother have subscribed to it on the Subscribe Minute. New Delhi. This year's interview of Ted Bundy being sentenced to death by putting him in the electric chair shows that he really forces the mind to subscribe to what may be in someone's mind, that it has nothing to do with his outward appearance, intelligence, appearance. According to me, one of the things he did in many of the longest dams was how if any human being was captured in Arugya, if the blind robbers in the saliva, and XXX everyone Tiffin Whiffen was the superintendent of police. Subscribe Amit Samuthra. Please subscribe that. And the strains were liquid 1994. So friends, let us know how you like this video, and if you like the channel be sure to like, share and subscribe to meet us another day with a new video.